Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ritesh Prabhu. Hare to all the devotees who led the chanting. Start with Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay. Anybody would like to sing our prayer for this week, which is Bhajahure Muna Shri Nandanandana Vaishla Govindas Kaviraj.
I can try, Prabhuji.
Shri Mataji, yeah, go ahead.
Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Durlabh Manav Janma Satsange Durlabh Manav Janma Satsange Taro e Bhava Sindhure Shita Atap Bata Barishana Edina Jamini Jagire Shita Atap Bata Barishana Edina Jamini Jagire Vipale Sevinu Kripana Durjana Vipale Sevinu Kripana Durjana Chapala Sukhalabh Lagire Idana Yobana Putra Parijana Idana Yobana Putra Parijana Ite Kiyache Parati Tire Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala Bhajau Haripada Nitire Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmanivedana Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmanivedana Govinda Das Abhilashare Govinda Das Abhilashare Bhajahure Mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the wonderful recitation. Okay. I was thinking we have been reading translation and we read first purport. Prabhupada has given 4 purports on this particular bhajan. So today we'll read purport 2. Anybody would like to read this morning?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Meenu Mataji. Yeah.
O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the...
Sorry, we're reading the purport.
Oh, just the purport, not that? Okay.
Purport number 2. Yeah.
Sure. Bhajahure Mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. This is a song sung by Govinda Dasa, poet Govinda Dasa. He's addressing his mind because, after all, we have to work with the cooperation of our mind. If our mind is disturbed, if the mind is dragging us to choose something else, then it is very difficult to concentrate in one sort of business. That is practical. Therefore, the yoga system needs to control the mind. It is a mechanical process of controlling the mind. Because without controlling the mind, without the mind being not disturbed, nobody can make any spiritual progress. But our Vaishnava system is to engage the mind directly in the devotional service so that it may not go outside the scope of devotional service. That is our system, and that is practical. If we concentrate on our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, Archanam, Shravnam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarnam, Pad Sevnam, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23, then automatically mind becomes controlled. The yogis are trying artificially to control the mind, but they're failing. There are many instances, big yogis fail. So anything done artificially is not possible to be perfectly done. Therefore, the system of controlling the mind means you give the mind better engagement, then mind will not be attracted by inferior energy. This is a science or secret of success. So Govindasa is trying to fix the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, which is known as Abhaya Charana. Abhaya means where there is no fear. Just like we deposit our money in a reliable bank because we think there is no fear of loss. That is called Abhaya, without any fear. And Charana means lotus feet. So Govindasa is advising his mind, Hure Mana, my dear mind, Hure addressing the mind, Bhaja Hure Mana, Bhaja. Bhaja means be engaged in devotional service. Bhaja Hure Mana Sri Nanda Nandana. In the service of Krishna, the son of Nanda, there are many Krishnas, but we are concerned with a particular Krishna who appears as the son of Nand Maharaj and the son of Vasudeva. Therefore, he says particularly just like we identify one person, his name, his father's name, then it is perfectly identified. So he says, Sri Nanda Nandana, Bhajahu Re Mana, Sri Nanda Nandana, Abhaya Charana Ravindare. His lotus feet is secure to take shelter of. There are many shlokas in the Bhagavatam about this. Samarsita ye pada pallava palavam, mahatapadam, punya yasho mureha, mahatapadam. Under the lotus feet of Krishna, the whole material creation is resting. So if such a gigantic creation can rest, so if I am insignificant, tiny living being, if I take shelter at the lotus feet, which is fearless of Krishna, then my security is guaranteed. Bhajahu re mana Sri Nanda Nandana, Abhaya Charana Ravindare, Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange, Taraho e Bhava Sindhure. Durlabha, very rarely got this human form of life. Durlabha Manava Janama. So, in order to fix up our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, it is necessary that we should live in the association of devotees. Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange. Satsange means in the association of devotees. If we don't live in the association of devotees, if we try to fix up our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna independently, it will not be possible. It will be a failure. Therefore, he says, Satsanga, in the association of devotees, Taraho e Bhava Sindhure. The real purpose of life is to cross over the ocean of nations. If we fix up our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna in the association of devotees, then we can very easily cross over the ocean of nations, the material existence. Then what is my present business? Now my present business is Sita Atapa Bata Barisana Aidina Jamini Jagire. My material engagement is that I don't care for severe cold. I don't care for scorching heat. I don't care for sleeping at night. I am working hard day and night. Sita Atapa Bata Barisana Aidina Jamini Jagire. And what for? Kripana Bipale Sevino Kripana Durjana. For the service of Kripana Durjana. Kripana Durjana means outsiders. The so-called material society, friendship, love, etc., they're actually outsiders. They cannot give me actual spiritual advancement of life. But if we are engaged in the service of society, friendship or love, nationalism, socialism, or so many, our engagements are various. But that is Bipale. Bipale means without any result. Result will be that I create a certain type of mentality in order to protect the so-called country, society, family, and at the time of the death, I will have to accept a body according to my mentality. So people are accepting so many abominable means to carry on this business of society, friendship, and love, so-called. The result that he is developing a certain type of mentality which is not human, and the result will be next life he will be forced to accept a body according to that mentality. Therefore, Kripana Durjana. Kripana means miser. They will not give me any intelligence, any enlightenment of my real need of life. But still we are engaged in the service of such a Durjana, outsider. Bipale sevino Kripana Durjana, Chapala Sukha Labha Lagire. And there is little happiness. Otherwise, how a man can work so hard day and night? The happiness is sex enjoyment. Chapala flickering. Vidyapati sings, Tatale uh, Saikate Veri Bindu Sama. The happiness is just like a drop of water in the desert. The desert requires water, but if you take little water and sprinkle over it, now take water. So, what is the value of that water? Similarly, we are hankering after eternal happiness. What these society, friendship, and love will give us. Therefore, we are simply wasting our time in the matter of deriving happiness from this so called materialistic way of life, maintaining society, friendship, and so forth. Simply wasting. Bifale. Bifale means without any good result. Bifale sevino kripana durjana chapala sukhala. Never mind, I shall enjoy personally. I got my youthful life, I can earn money, and I don't care for my family. Actually, this is now happening at the present moment. Nobody cares for family, but he is busy only for maintaining himself, to utilize his useful life and so many things. Govindasa poet is advising, my dear mind, I accept that now you have got youthful life, you can enjoy. Therefore, you say, E dhana yobana putra parijana ithe ki ache parati tire. This accumulation of wealth, earning money, and this youthful life enjoying. E dhana yobana putra parijana. And by society, friendship and love, is there any actual happiness or transcendental happiness? Ithe ki achi parati tire. It is something like a water on the lotus leaf. Kamala dala jala jivana talamala. It is the existence of water. It is this existence of water is tilting, at any moment will fall down. Actually, all of this youthful enjoyment or money making business, at any moment it can be finished. So actually, you cannot believe or bring your faith in that sort of happiness. That is not good because it can be finished at any moment. These people are engaged in making skyscraper buildings and bank balance and having good motor cars and so many things they are trying to enjoy, but forgetting that any moment it can be finished. Any moment. So it is just like Kamala Dalajala, keeping water on the lotus feet. It does not stand. It is tilted, can fall down any moment. The example is very nice. Therefore, he is advising Shravana Kirtana. He is instructing the mind that don't do this, don't do this. So many negative things. Then the next question will then be actually, mind may ask Govindasa, actually, what do you want to do? You're negativating all these material engagements, and that's all right. Then what is your positive proposal? He says. Yes, my positive proposal is this. Shravana Kirtana Smarnama Vandana Padasevana Dasyare Pujana Sakijana Atma Nivedana Govinda Dasa Abhilashare. My dear mind, my desire is that you kindly help me hearing about this Abhaya Charnaravinda, Krishna Shravanam, and let me chant about his glories, Shravana Kirtana. Let me remember, let me serve his lotus feet. Let me make friendship with him. Let me offer everything what I have got to him. These are my desires. If you kindly cooperate with me, then I can do this. So this is very instructing song. The summary of the mission of human life, and anyone who will follow this principle will be actually happy transcendentally. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, wonderful summary. It's almost like Prabhupada sitting there in on 22nd Avenue in the Matchless Gifts and giving this lecture to all his new followers. Right? It is hitting hard, like they were saying yesterday. And there's also like Prahlad Maharaj. So we have been comparing Srila Prabhupada with Prahlad Maharaj, how Prahlad Maharaj instructs these processes of devotional service to his friends in his Gurukul. So here Prabhupada is instructing these new followers, new disciples, And every time we read Prabhupada's purports, it shows how again he focuses on each and every word. This goes back to how he painstakingly translated the whole Srimad Bhagavatam word for word, meaning the Roman transliteration, the translations, and the purports. Right. So his clarity of thought and his vision, like Bruce and Steve were saying yesterday, was not from this material world. It was beyond. It was coming from something beyond this world, right? So that is the transcendental experience they were having yesterday. And as they were walking through the courtyard, they could see a small garden with some flowers, birdhouse, right? And they said it was not something common in New York. So again, that's we say, like, where a pure devotee is, Vrindavan manifests, right? So it was almost like a little Vrindavan, small courtyard, and where some sincere devotees were translating his, or were typing his manuscripts. But yeah, it almost reminded us that Prabhupada is in Vrindavan, and Vrindavan is never far when where a pure devotee is. Okay, so we'll continue from here. I think we are reading. Yeah. Okay, so I'll continue. On one occasion, our conversation turned to my previous trip to India in 1962, and I began talking about how much it meant to me, how much it moved me. I even mentioned that I had made a girlfriend there. So we got to talking about that, and I told him that I had her picture I was carrying, the girl's picture in my wallet. So Swamiji asked to see. I took out the picture, and Swamiji looked at it and made a sour face and said, "Oh, she's not pretty. Girls in India are more beautiful than that." Hearing that from the Swami just killed any attachment I had for that girl. I felt ashamed that I had an interest in a girl that the Swami did not consider pretty. I don't think I ever looked at the photograph again, and certainly I never gave her another thought. Bruce was a newcomer and had only been to 1 week of meetings at the storefront. So no one had told him that the members of Anand Ashram, Dr. Mishra's yoga retreat, had invited Swamiji and his followers for a day in the upstate countryside. Bruce had just arrived at the storefront one morning when he heard someone announce, "The Swami is leaving," and Prabhupada came out of the building and stepped into a car. In a fit of anxiety, Bruce thought that the Swami was leaving them for good, for India. "No," Howard told him, "we are going to the yoga ashram in the country." But the other car had already left, and there was no room in Swamiji's car. Just then Steve showed up. He had expected the boys to come by his apartment to pick him up. They both had missed the ride. Bruce phoned a friend up in the Bronx and convinced him to drive them up to Anand Ashram. But when they got to Bruce's friend's apartment, the friend had decided he didn't want to go. Finally, he lent Bruce his car, and Swamiji's 2 new followers set out for Anand Ashram. By the time they arrived, Prabhupada and his group were already taking prasadam, sitting around a picnic table beneath the trees. Anand Ashram was a beautiful place, with sloping hills and lots of trees and sky and green grass and a lake. The 2 latecomers came walking up to Swamiji, who was seated like the father of a family at the head of the picnic table. Keith was serving from a big wok onto the individual plates. When Prabhupada saw his 2 stragglers, he asked them to sit next to him, and Keith served them. Prabhupada took Steve's chapati and heaped it up with a mound of sugar, and Steve munched on the bread and sugar while everyone laughed. Prabhupada began talking somehow about lion tamers, and he recalled that once at a fair he had seen a man wrestling with a tiger, rolling over and over with it down the hill. The boys, who rarely heard Swamiji speak anything but philosophy, were surprised. They were delighted. City kids, taken to the country by their guru and having a good time. Steve: I was talking with Swamiji across a long, gentle slope. I wanted him to see and approve a picture of Radha and Krishna I had found in a small book, Narada Bhakti Sutra. I had planned to get a color reproduction of it to give to each of his followers. So as we were walking across the grass, I showed him the picture and asked him whether it was a nice picture of Radha and Krishna for reproducing. He looked at the picture, smiled, nodded, and said yes. Bruce: I walked with Swamiji around the grounds, and all the others were doing something else, and Swamiji and myself were walking alone. He was talking about building a temple there. Prabhupada walked across the scenic acreage, looking at the distant mountains and forests, and Keith walked beside him. Prabhupada spoke of how Dr. Mishra had offered him the island in the middle of the ashram's lake to build a temple on. What kind of temple were you thinking of? Keith asked. How big? Prabhupada smiled and gestured across the horizon. As big as the whole horizon? Keith laughed. Yes, Prabhupada replied. A few Anand Ashram men and women came by. One woman was wearing a sari. Prabhupada turned to the other woman and said, "A woman who wears a sari looks very feminine." It was late afternoon when some of Swamiji's followers gathered by the lake and began talking candidly about Swamiji and speculating about his relation to God and their relation to him. "Well," said Wally, "Swami never claimed to be God or an incarnation, but he says that he is the servant of God, teaching love of God." "But he says that the spiritual master is not different from God," said Howard. They stood at the edge of the mirrory, calm lake and concluded that it was not necessary to talk about this. The answers would be revealed later. None of them really had much spiritual knowledge, but they wanted their faith to deepen. Afterward, Keith, Wally, and Howard wandered into the meditation room. There was a seat with a picture of Dr. Mishra, who was away in Europe. But the most remarkable thing was the blinking strobe light. "I feel like I'm in a head shop on St. Mark's Place," said Wally. "What kind of spiritual meditation is this?" Howard asked. A Mishra follower wearing a white kurta and white bell bottoms replied that their guru had said they could sit and meditate on this light. "Swamiji says you should meditate on Krishna," said Keith. After sunset, everyone gathered in the large room of the main building to watch a slideshow. It was a loose collection, mostly of assorted slides of India and the Anand Ashram. A record by a popular Indian sitarist was playing in the background. Some of the slides were of Vishnu temples, and when one slide passed by quickly, Prabhupada asked, "Let me see that. Can you go back and let me see that temple again?" This happened several times when he recognized familiar temples in India. Later in the show, there were several slides of a girl, one of the members of Dr. Mishra's ashram, demonstrating Indian dance poses. As one of her pictures passed, an ashram man joked, "Turn back and let me see the temple again." The joke seemed at Swamiji's expense and in poor taste. His followers didn't laugh. Then came Swamiji's lecture. He sat up cross legged on the couch in the largest room in the mansion. The room was filled with people, the Swami's followers from the Lower East Side, as well as the Ananda Ashram yogis, sitting on the floor or standing along the walls and in the doorway. He began his talk by criticizing democracy. He said that because people are attached to sense gratification, they vote for a leader who will fulfill their own lust and greed, and that is their only criterion for picking a leader. He went on for 45 minutes to explain about the importance of Krishna consciousness, his reel to reel tape recorder moving silently. Then he led a kirtan that bridged all differences and brought out the best in everyone that night. Several nights before, in his apartment on 2nd Avenue, Prabhupada had taught his followers how to dance. They had formed a line behind him while he demonstrated the simple step. Holding his arms above his head, he would first swing his left foot forward across the right foot and then bring it back again in a sweeping motion. Then he would swing his right foot over the left and bringing it back again. With his arms upraised, Prabhupada would walk forward, swinging his body from side to side, left foot to right foot to left side, in time with 1, 2, 3 rhythm. He had shown them the step in regular time and in a slow, half time rhythm. Keith had called it the Swami step, as it were a new ballroom dance. The Prabhupada's followers began dancing, and soon the others joined them, moving around the room in a rhythmic circle of ecstasy, dancing and swaying, sometimes leaping and whirling. It was a joyous hour-long kirtan, the Swami encouraging everyone to the fullest extent. A visitor to the ashram happened to have his string bass with him, and he began expertly turning out his own swinging bass improvisations beneath the Swami's melody, while another man played the tablas. The Ananda Ashram members had been divided of late into two tense, standoffish groups. There was the elderly crowd similar to the old ladies who had attended the Swami's uptown lectures, and there was the young crowd, mostly hip couples. But in the Kirtana, their rifts were forgotten, and as they discovered later, even healed. Whether they liked it or not, almost all of those present were induced to rise and dance. Then it was late. The Swami took rest in the guest room, and his boys slept outside in their sleeping bags. Howard, I awaken 3 or 4 times, and each time I'm flat on my back looking up at the stars, which are always in different positions. My sense of time is confused. The side reel shifts dizzy me. Then, just before morning, I dream. I dream of devotees clustered about a beautiful golden youth. To see him is to be captivated. His transcendental body radiates an absolute beauty unseen in the world. Stunned, I inquire, "Who is he?" "Don't you know?" Someone says. "That's the Swami." I look carefully, but see no resemblance. The youth appears around 18, straight out of Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. If that is Swamiji, I wonder to myself, why doesn't he come to earth like that? A voice somewhere inside me answers, "People would follow me for my beauty, not for my teachings." And I awake, startled. The dream is clear in my mind, more like a vision than a dream. I feel strangely refreshed, bathed in some unknown balm. Again, I see that the constellations have shifted and that the dimmer stars have faded into the encroaching dawn. I remember Swamiji telling me that although most dreams are simply functions of the mind, dreams of the spiritual master are of spiritual significance. Keith also had a dream that night. Keith, I saw Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna was inquiring from Krishna, and Krishna was reciting the Bhagavad Gita to him. Then that picture phased out, and the images changed. And there was Swamiji, and I was kneeling in front of him, and the same dialogue was going on. I had the understanding that now is the time, and Swamiji is presenting the same thing as Krishna, and we are all in the position of Arjuna. The dream made it very clear that hearing from Swamiji was as good as hearing from Krishna. The sun rose over the mountains, streaking the morning sky above the lake with colors. Wally and Keith were walking round the grounds, saying to Prabhupada how beautiful it all was. We are not so concerned with beautiful scenery, said Prabhupada. We are concerned with the beautiful one who has made the beautiful scenery. Later, Prabhupada sat next to Bruce in the Volkswagen returning to the city. The car went winding around on a ribbon of smooth black mountain road with lush green forests close in and intermittent vistas of mountains and expansive sky. It was a rare occasion for Bruce to be driving Prabhupada in a car because none of the Swami's boys had cars. They would always travel by bus or subway. It seemed fitting for the Swami to have a car to ride in, but this was only a little Volkswagen, and Bruce winced whenever they hit a bump and it jostled Prabhupada. As they wound their way on through the mountains, Bruce recalled something he had read in a book by Aldous Huxley's wife about the best places for meditation. One opinion had been that the best place to meditate was by a large body of water because of the negative ions in the air, and the other opinion was that it was better to meditate in the mountains because you are higher up and closer to God. Is it better for spiritual realization to meditate in the mountains? Bruce asked Prabhupada. Bruce asked, and Prabhupada replied, This is nonsense. There is no question of better place. Are you thinking that God is up on some planet or something and you have to go up high? No, you can meditate anywhere. Just chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Let's all chant Hare Krishna. Okay. Swamiji's step, he was calling it. Yesterday they were saying it's the bell ceremony when Prabhupada was performing the arati or offering bhoga. And now they're calling it a Swamiji's step, the dance, the simple, elegant, and most blissful step. Taking your left foot around your right foot and your right foot around your left, swaying from left to right, like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu led the Kirtan Sankirtan in Navadvip. Yes. Hare Krishna. Anybody would like to share any reflections, thoughts, realizations, anything you liked, loved, or learned from today's reading?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Just a simple thought that when he went to that place where he was invited, and when the disciple, one of the other disciples, asked them to meditate on that light. So my thought at that point was that light is actually a darkness. It is actually an absence of intelligence of this, it's a nations of material world. So the light is within. When we chant Hare Krishna, I think that's what enlightens us and puts us on the right path. Otherwise, it's all ignorance. We think of my this, my that, I do this, I do that. None of that actually is us. I think we have to realize that whatever is happening, it's being led by a supreme power, and we just need to meditate upon him wherever and however. That's the thought I got today. Sorry, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's actually Radheshyam Prabhu, when he was here last week, actually, I was reminded in one of his lectures, he mentions this meditation. It just pacifies the mind, right? So, like when you have dirt in the water, eventually the dirt will settle down in a glass, let's say, and then when you actually stir the glass of water, then that whole dirt will again come back up, right? So meditation, the so-called meditation, focusing on this light, this is okay to some extent. It will just help you pacify. It will help you calm your mind. But chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Desham Prabhu says it actually purifies our mind, right? So it removes that dirt, that contamination, right? Then no matter what kind of situations come in our life, and they try to stir our consciousness, because our consciousness has been purified by the chanting of the Maha Mantra, we will not be disturbed. So that's the difference between meditation on just a light versus meditating on the transcendental sound vibration of the Lord, by engaging our senses, because then our senses are purified, our tongue is purified. And like we say, tongue is the most voracious of all the senses. It's very hard to control the tongue, whether in terms of talking or in terms of eating. So by chanting the holy names, by eating the prasada, once we are able to control our tongue, then through the tongue we are able to control our belly, genitals, right? It's our whole senses are controlled. And of course, of the mind, of all the senses, I'm the mind, as Krishna says. So the mind is purified, our consciousness is purified. So this was just by this one simple instruction of Shravanam, Kirtanam, right, and Vishnu Smaranam. Just by chanting, we can actually do all those three things. We can sing Kirtan, we can hear the transcendental sound vibration through our ears. We can remember the Lord, His form, His qualities, His pastimes. Just like Prahlad Maharaj says, like we were reading that prayer, Shravana Kirtan Vishnu Smaranam. So that is the difference, like what Radheshyam Prabhu says, between pacifying the mind versus purifying the mind. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything? Okay, if not, then we'll conclude here for today. Thank you for your kind association. Hare Krishna, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrind ki Jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a great day, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.